the annoying and grotesque next-door neighbor of everybody's favorite chosen psychic of destiny, Porky Mitch from the Earthbound series. This little snot made it his goal to make life so much harder for Ness and his friends, even going so far as selling his own soul to the greatest evil to ever threaten the likes of his world. After Ness and Co. saved the day, Porky found himself traveling through time and space, and somehow started his own army, all with the distinct desire of once again ruining everybody else's lives for his own amusement. Porky is a nasty and manipulative brat, and on top of that, he's packing some serious heat. And for this moveset, he'll be coming to Smash fully equipped while piloting his deadly insect-like contraption. Specifically the one that we see in Earthbound. He does have his spider mech that he uses in Mother 3, but as we see from his boss fight in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, it's much too large to be used. So the Mother 2 machine will have to do here. Regardless of what mech he's using, it'll still have plenty of artillery to allow the likes of even Porky to stand on his own in the world of Super Smash Bros. So getting right into things, Porky would be a pretty heavyweight fighter with a lot of quick but unsettling movement. He'd have 2 jumps, and he would be able to crawl. Porky would have a one-hit jab that could lead into a rapid jab, with the single jab being a simple stab forward from one of the mech's legs. Then if the rapid jab is initiated, he'll take that same leg and do his stabbing flurry attack, the same one that we see him use as a boss in Brawl. His dash attack can be a charging tackle forwards, putting all of his weight into the move to launch away any foe in Porky's way. This makes reference to one of the few attacks that he uses on the party when you fight him in Earthbound. The side tilt can have Porky shoot a quick laser spark from the front of his mech for a semi-disjointed attack. While not something Porky ever directly does himself, it makes reference to the common laser attack that his pig mask soldiers will generally do in Mother 3. The up tilt can have Porky do a quick handstand on his 2 front legs, all the while stabbing his other 4 legs straight up at the same time. The down tilt can have him quickly spin a few times while low to the ground with all 6 of the mech's legs outstretched, dealing multi-hitting damage before launching with the final hit. This move slightly propels Porky forwards each time he uses it. For Porky's side smash, it can have him stab his 2 front legs straight forwards, then pull them apart to do a strong tearing attack. If a foe gets hit by that initial stab, then that brutal tearing motion will deal some major extra damage to that poor sucker before they're launched away. This move comes from another attack that Porky uses in Earthbound during the Gygas fight. For his up smash, this can reference his laser attack that he uses during his Brawl boss fight. As he charges the attack, he'll create an energy orb above his cockpit, which can deal small flinching damage to foes who touch it. And when the attack is released, a thin beam will come out and swing overhead from back to front. The beam moves a little slowly and is easy to telegraph, but if it does hit a foe, it'll drag them along until the attack concludes, launching them upwards afterwards. It's a move with great disjoint, but bad end lag. For Porky's down smash, it can have him shoot some missiles that arc downwards and explode on both sides of the mech. He shoots a few, so the hitbox of this attack does last a little longer than most attacks do, but the start and end lag make it easy to avoid and or to punish Porky if not used appropriately. This attack comes from his missile attack during his Mother 3 boss fight. Porky's neutral air can have him spin horizontally with his legs outstretched, turning his mech into a giant buzzsaw, and while he spins, he kinda toggles side to side, making the hitbox a lot more awkward for opponents to dodge. And if they can't dodge it, then they'll take a lot of multi-hitting damage before being launched with the final hit. The forward air can have Porky swing his 2 front legs both horizontally forwards, crisscrossing past each other to deal big slashing damage. The back air can have him thrust the back of his cockpit backwards to hit any foe behind him with a bum rush. The up air can have the mech swing all 6 of its legs upwards and meet at the tip, almost like a claw. The swinging legs deal small damage and launch foes at weird upward angles, whereas getting hit by the legs coming together at the top is the sweet spot, dealing a lot more damage and shooting them straight upwards. And the down air can be a multi-hitting attack that has Porky stab all of his legs straight downwards over and over again like a creepy Halloween spider, done to quickly rack up damage before launching with the final hit. To grab his victims, Porky will latch onto them with the 2 front legs of the mech, while at the same time opening the glass of his cockpit so he can get up close and personal to his prey. And he does this so he can personally pummel them by hitting the foe with the same kind of squeaky toy hammer that we see for the whack-a-mole game that he has in his tower in Mother 3. The forward throw can have Porky fire a beam into the foe that sends them forwards at a slightly kind of high angle. The back throw can have Porky do a quick front flip, stabbing the foe with the two back legs to drag them across the ground under himself. Then when the flip completes, the foe is launched backwards at an upward angle. The up throw can be a simple stabbing uppercut with one of the legs to send the foe into the air. And the down throw can have Porky crush his foe by slamming them with the full weight of his mech, dealing good damage and bouncing them away afterwards. For Porky's neutral special, he could use his deadly, but also not so deadly at the same time, Mecha Pokies. Used as a means of pestering Lucas and his friends in Mother 3, but also as an attack during his Brawl boss fight. Using the special will have him bring out a single Mecha Porky, and when out, it'll start running around left and right on the stage or platform that it was summoned on. They'll also attempt to glomp any foe too close by lunging at them, and if the Mecha Porky makes contact with someone, or after about 3 seconds, it'll explode, dealing a moderate amount of damage, but they don't launch foes very far. There can only be one Mecha Porky on screen at a time, and if Porky tries to bring out another one, then nothing will happen. Also, the Mecha Porkies do act as projectiles, so they can be reflected or pocketed, but the moment one is, then Porky is able to bring another one out immediately if he so wishes. For Porky's side special, things are about to get noxious, as he sprays forwards a questionable gas of unknown origin. Yeah, sure, I think we all know what that really is. Oreo approves. This is something that he did in both Mother games that he appeared in, so it's actually one of his only consistent attacks. However, what's not consistent about it are the effects that this gas does to the poor party members forced to smell it. In Earthbound, it lowered Ness and his friends' offensive power, whereas in Mother 3, it had a chance to make Lucas and his friends feel numb. Really, both are accurate considering the circumstance, so as such, for this Smash moveset, it'll do both. He'll turn around and spray the gas out of an exhaust pipe on the back of his mech. He'll only spray it out in bursts, but the gas does kind of linger for a second before dissipating. It cannot make opponents flinch, and it deals very minuscule damage, but it is guaranteed to weaken opponents hit by the smell, lowering their overall damage output. You'll know you're under their effects when you see yourself covered in a stink cloud. This stink cloud will last for about 6 to 7 seconds at a time before going away, returning the foe's damage output to normal. Though they're still probably going to want to take a shower afterwards. I know I would. That said, there's also a small chance that if you're hit by the gas, you'll be put into a paralyzed state for a bit, with how long it lasts depending on how high your damage percent is. Porky's noxious gas overall is a passively threatening attack. Bad if you value your stocks and your hygiene. Though I have heard rumors that melee players are apparently immune to it, so they got nothing to worry about. Anyways, now for Porky's up special, this can be a combination reference to 2 of his attacks from his boss fight in Brawl. Pressing up special will have him jump high into the air, then come crashing down to crush any foe below him. This is kinda your standard what goes up must come down up special. He'll have some super armor as he goes up, and if he hits a foe on the way down, then they will be spiked. But that isn't Porky's only option, because if you hold down the button after activating up special and never let it go, then at the apex of his jump, he'll stop, begin to charge up, then shoot a lightning strike straight down. This bolt is powerful, and it deals a lot of damage and knockback to anybody unfortunate enough to feel the wrath of King P. So I hope for your sake that you got yourself a happy box. But despite how powerful this lightning strike is, it's also fairly telegraphed, so I'm sure that most competent opponents will see it coming. Also, if you choose to use the lightning strike, then Porky will not come crashing down like he would normally. Instead, he'll just go into freefall. I will just say though, while this attack does come from his Brawl boss fight, I wouldn't be surprised if the lightning attack was a reference to the Thunder Tower in Mother 3, so that's a fun little detail. But finally, for Porky's down special, this'll just have him use his PSI counter device, the same one that he used during his Mother 3 boss fight. It's pretty much your run-of-the-mill down special that acts as both a counter and a reflect. The move works just like how it does for Palutena and Joker with Arsene. He'll go into a counter stance and counter-attack with a powerful strike if he's hit by any attack that isn't a projectile. And of course, if it is a projectile, then he'll just reflect it back at 1.5 times the amount of power. I overall designed Porky's moveset to very much reflect what Porky is. Annoying, yet unsettling, and immature, yet conniving. For Porky's final smash, He'll take on his role as the great and terrible King P to sick his pig mask army on everyone. Porky will fly into the background of the stage to watch, and a bunch of different pig mask soldiers will appear all across the stage and start attacking any foe within their sights. Firing beams at them, throwing time bombs, kicking or bum rushing. Some will even say some nasty, horrible things to lock the foes in place, unable to move. But that's just what happens automatically during this final smash, as something else much more terrifying will appear. And that terrible something is the Pig King statue, which will smash down into the spot where Porky was standing and will begin to jump up and down. You can hold left or right to make the statue move into the appropriate direction as it jumps. It deals big damage to any foe who touches its body, and even bigger damage to anyone it crushes underneath itself. On top of that, it causes shock waves whenever it stomps, which will trip any foe on the ground nearby. After 5 seconds of this madness, the Pig King statue jumps away and all the pig mask soldiers retreat, allowing Porky to return to his spot on the battlefield to resume his fight. For colors, Porky can have 2 alternate outfits. His default can show him with his blue suspenders and white shirt, and his mech can be a yellowish brown color. His alternate costume can show him in his snazzy red business suit. His mech for this color can be a more greenish brown. The first alternate color for the suspenders costume can give him black suspenders, as well as add a red bow tie, referencing his mecha Pokies. And his mech can be light pink in color, referencing the pig mask tanks used in his army. The first alt for his suit costume can show Porky with brown hair, blue skin, and the colors of his suit slightly inverted, and his mech a dead gray color. A direct reference to his almost zombie-like appearance that he takes on when he fights alongside Gygas at the end of Earthbound. The next suspenders alt can be green with a red shirt. This references the colors of the outfits that his abusive parents wore. The mech for this can be a teal color. The next suit alt can show him with purple hair, gray skin, a yellow suit, and a dirty golden colored mech. This actually references an unused sprite of Porky. And his final alt with the suspenders can sorta kinda be an alt costume, but not really much of one. It can show him as he is in Mother 3, as an old man who's traveled through time and space for so long that he could very well be between 1,000 to 10,000 years old. His mech for this color would be purple, referencing the bed mech spider bot that he fought with in Mother 3. And the final color overall can show him as an old man, except he'd be wearing a blue suit, which could be in reference to Monotoli, the fake mayor of Fourside whom Porky conspired with for a while. The mech for this color can be a light gold color, referencing the helicopter that Porky stole from Monotoli to make his escape after Ness and his friends caught up with them. For his stage intro, Porky could phase in using the Phase Distorter, the same kind used after stealing the first Phase Distorter to get to the past where Gygas was. We'll just pretend that his mech has the same capabilities to be able to do so. For taunts, his first can have Porky turn around at his mech, slap his butt, and say, "Spankity, spankity, spankity!" His second and third taunts can both be references to the useless and annoying actions that Porky does at the beginning of Earthbound when he travels with Ness to try to find his younger brother Picky. The first of these 2 taunts can have him pretend to act all innocent, then give a very sinister smile afterwards. And the last taunt overall can have Porky just play dead, then silently chuckle to himself. And finally, for the victory animations, the first can have Porky start maniacally laughing and snorting himself silly, until suddenly he fades away using the Phase Distorter, with Porky nowhere to be seen afterwards. His next can show him getting out of his mech to celebrate, all the while we see a bunch of his pig mask soldiers standing behind their king doing celebratory salutes. And the final can at first just show the absolutely safe capsule. The camera slowly pans towards the window until you suddenly see Porky show himself from behind the glass, giving raspberries to everybody else outside. You can't hurt him anymore, even though he can't hurt you either. Whatever, I don't think he cares. And that does it for What If Porky Minch was in Smash. Porky is a pest, he's obnoxious, he's gross. And that seems to be why everyone loves him so much as a villain. People just love to hate this twerp. I know that he'd be another super fun addition as a villain if he were added to the roster. But as of right now, we have no clue where Porky is actually. He's been present in the series as a trophy and was even significant enough to be a boss in Brawl. But in Ultimate, he's MIA. He's not even a spirit. The absolutely safe capsule is, and I wonder if that's supposed to be the joke, that even as a spirit, he's still stuck inside that thing. But regardless, it's a really odd thing to do. Some people take this absence as a spirit as the possibility of him actually being a fighter at some point. I still have my doubts, but who knows. Anyways, if you liked what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. And if you'd like to support the show and help me be able to make more content for you guys, you can click the join button either below the video or my main page to become a sponsor for my channel. Doing so will get you access to my private Discord, as well as channel emotes. You can guarantee that your name appears in my videos, or even get the option of knowing what if character is coming up next a week in advance. I really appreciate anything that can be contributed. And of course, if you have a character that you'd like to see me give out a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact me on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching!